This is the first dual motor scooter that I reviewed for less than $1,000, and it's called the Splach Thunder. And what's crazy about that is that it costs just $100 more than the Segway Max, which is the most popular entry-level scooter sold in America. And now you have a performance scooter that is basically the same price. So let's find out how good a $999 performance scooter is. But before I dive into performance, let me just give you a quick walk around. And the first thing I want to talk about is the color scheme. First, you have gold up here. The folding lever's gold. You got gold swing arms, a gold fin, and then rear gold swing arms. It's kind of a ritzy scooter. All right, now back up to the handlebars. The grips are pretty bulky. If you like big grips, you'll like these. Next to that is the control pad. You have a power button, and then plus and minus to change the speed modes. There's 3 speed modes. The next control pad is the lights. When the headlight is on, a blue light comes on. And then you got a headlight just below the handlebars that you can adjust. And then if you hold down the plus button, that turns the lights down the stem and then along both sides of the deck. Below the headlight button, there's turn signals. And then you got turn signals up front and then on the tail light. There's no indicator on the LCD screen, and you do have to hit this again to turn them off. And then below that is the horn. This is as bright as the screen goes, and as you can see, it's not that bright, but you can adjust that. And if you did turn the headlights off, nothing happens. Stays the same brightness. On the right side, you have Eco Turbo, single, dual. That has to deal with the power output, which I'll talk about in the performance section. And then next to that is the throttle. Then above that, Splach here lights up. In the front of the handlebars, you have mineral oil hydraulic brakes with ergonomic brake levers. I do like those. Got a bunch of wiring on both sides, but they have zip tied it, so they try to make that as clean as possible. The handlebars fold in. There's a piece on each side you have to unscrew. This one folds down too. I just have my quad lock, which is blocking it. If you do get any movement in the handlebars, all you have to do is just tighten these up, and that should lock them in. There we go. At the top of the stem, you have this piece. This is what's gonna hold the stem to the back of the scooter. And then to fold it up, you have to pull this pin out, which I like this because it's just another safety feature. A lot of scooters don't have this pin. And then you push up on this and pull out. Then you can just lift it up with the stem. There you go. Oh, I forgot one more thing up here on the handlebars, and that is the NFC card. Just put the NFC card right here, and now we're ready to rock and roll. And they do give you 3 of these. All right, so moving down, you got a pretty sturdy fender. It's got a 10-inch by 3-inch wide tire. That's air-filled. It's also punch resistant. And then the first motor. Moving towards the back, you have over a 6-inch wide deck. The fin is at a pretty steep angle, but again, I do like the gold color of that. That's just pretty awesome. And then the tail light that's on the back end. And then you have gold swing arms in the rear, 140 millimeter disc, and the second motor. Okay, now let's talk about power and speed and all the fun stuff. And just so you guys know, that Segway Max, the entry-level scooter, that costs just $100 less than this, has a single motor, tops out at 22 miles per hour, and can barely climb a 15% grade. So just keep that in mind as you watch this. There's 3 things that you can change in the event settings as far as how you want the power delivered. P5, that changes it from a 0 to a kickstart. And P10, you can change from a soft to a hard start. You have 5 different levels. On level 5 is the strongest option, which is what I have the scooter set to. And then in P11, that is the speed limit setting. It goes from 0 to 99. When set to 99, that gives you a full power. That's as fast as the scooter can go. I'm gonna use this button to set it to sport mode. You have Eco Drive and Sport mode. I've got it set to turbo mode, and I've got dual motors. So this is as fast as the scooter can go. Let's see if it can get over 22 miles an hour. That's a little faster at 35 miles an hour. Woo! 35 miles an hour for a $999 scooter. I've never seen that before, so that is a good speed. They've done a very nice job with the suspension, with the balance, the length of the deck, all the things that give you a nice and solid ride. When going over 30 miles per hour, that's got it. I want to talk about a few things you can do to cut the power, and the first is lowering the speed mode. When set to Eco, I'm only topping out at 10 miles an hour, pretty slow. If I go back up to sport mode, and then I hit the Eco mode, it's a little faster, but I'm topping out at 16 miles an hour. Put it back on turbo mode, staying on sport mode, and then if I hit the single motor, and now I'm topping out at 20 miles an hour. Now, you actually have what they say 12 riding modes, because you can do Eco mode, and then you can do Eco Turbo, single or dual. No, actually you have way more than 12 riding modes, because you can do Eco single, Eco Turbo single, Eco dual, Eco. You got a lot of riding modes. I'll just say that. Okay, so moving on to more power stuff, let's talk about acceleration. Splach says that the 2 800-watt motors can take you to 25 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds. I don't know if that was 25 in 3.9 seconds, but it did feel pretty fast. And you do have some front tire spin. The last thing I want to talk about as far as power is the hill climbing ability. I took this on the hill that I take every product to. It's a 20% grade, half a block long, and as you probably would have guessed, it just ripped up that hill. By the time I hit the top, I was going over 20 miles per hour. Pretty confident that this can tackle any hill in your area. You just got some awesome power, which is pretty cool for a $1,000 scooter. Whew. All right, now let's talk about range and battery size and all that good stuff. In the deck, you got a 56 15.2 amp hour battery, and that battery is UL certified. That takes 7 to 8 hours for recharge, and the charge port is here on the right side. There's a screw cap. Now, they've got a range rating of up to 37 miles on this, which if you're topping this thing out, which I did the other day, you're not gonna get that. If you're full throttle going 35 miles an hour, you can expect around 20 miles. The last thing I want to talk about is the ride and feel and how it handles. And the first thing I want to talk about is how light the scooter is. As far as dual motor high performance scooters go, it is quite small and it is quite light. This only weighs 61 pounds, but can carry a rider up to 330 pounds. It's more of a sporty type of handling. There are a couple things that I didn't like. The first one is the stem height. I'm a 5'11" guy and it's pretty low. The second thing is the handlebars are starting to creak a little bit. I've tightened these as tight as they can go, and I'm still getting some cracks in there. The deck size is pretty good. I like that. I got plenty of room there. As far as the clearance, if you do want to take this off-road, you have 6 inches. Now, as far as suspension, these guys went the rubber suspension route. There's 3 things that I like about that type of suspension. One is that I can take a hard hit. So you pop up on there, and it's not gonna bottom out. The second thing is how quiet it is. I mean, it's just, look at that. Woo, nice and quiet. The only popping you heard was, again, in the handlebars. And the third thing is that it has less rebound than traditional hydraulic suspension. So if you're on a gnarly road, hitting a lot of bumps, it's got a faster recovery. That's pretty much it for suspension, ride, feel, and handling. These guys have an app, and in it, you can check the stats. You can change the speed modes up to 3. You can lock and unlock the scooter, and then track your ride through GPS. There's also a secondary app, and this is just for the lights. And so you have this color wheel that you can just get crazy with the lights. You can change the brightness. That's all the way dim. It's all the way bright. There's presets. You can do different styles. Bunch of different options here. Music is pretty cool. Play this. That's awesome. This is the microphone option. It is voice activated. And then you can set a schedule on when you want the lights to come on. Well, all right, there you go. That is a $999 dual motor performance scooter, which I thought was a pretty kick-butt scooter. You got an awesome top speed, 35 miles an hour, hydraulic brakes with different regen braking. It can power up very steep hills. You got a fast acceleration, spinning that tire for a few feet. That's always a good time. But I'm curious to find out what you guys think of it. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. And as always, I appreciate you guys hopping on here and checking out my content. And I'll see you on the next one.